Yeah.
Good morning, grappling fans. It is Tuesday, which means we're back for another episode of Who's Number One. Joining me today is my co-host, Michael Sears over here, Rankings Extraordinaire. We have a bunch of guests calling in today. Very excited to have everyone back. We've got Mikey Musumeci back in the house, I should say calling in. Ricardo Amendolia from the snowy north, and Bear from Shoyroll is also calling in from California. Welcome back, everyone. Man, I'm super excited for today's show. Should we kick it off and find out how, Mikey, how your DM's been since last week when you put out the 10K challenge? That been blowing up? Yeah, it was pretty historic moment to have you in here. I got goosebumps. Man, it was a fun time, Michael. Take me through last week a little bit. What just went down?
Well, Mikey and Kyle were here like everybody saw and put out the challenge. A lot of people replied. Everything blew up online, sort of lit the world on fire. We had some interesting people accepting. A lot of people accepted who weren't really what they're looking for, who were like lightweights or whatever. But we had some big guys. Victor Hugo said he wants to Berimbolo Mikey. Herber Santos is in there. Bergenia. So, yeah, they're going back and forth. And, yeah, Mikey, how did you just turn off your Instagram or what? What did you do after that? Because you must have got a million notifications.
Yeah, so I'm not really like an outspoken type of person, like on the internet or whatever. So I just went off the grid and just went back to the mats and trained harder.
Ricardo, you weren't here for that last week. So what's your opinion on the whole thing, on Kyle's challenge, on the whole situation? We didn't get to hear your perspective.
Man, I think it's awesome. You know, everyone's coming out of the woodworks to challenge Mikey now. Big Mac put a challenge out there. Braggina put a challenge out there. My buddy Andy Nguyen hasn't trained in 10 years. Purple belt, he wants it. She wants a shot at the title. My neighbor said something about Mikey Musumeci. Right now, it's all about Musumeci madness in 2020.
All right, so just a couple things to remind people of before we get into more stuff with Mikey. We have the Daisy Fresh premiere tomorrow, 12 Eastern, the first episode, 40 minutes long. These guys are good friends of ours, good friends of Bears over at Show Your Roll. Yeah, those guys are pretty hardcore. They'll probably fight you if you say something bad about Show Your Roll or FloGrappling. But, yeah, tune in. It's going to be a lot different than any BJ documentaries I think you've seen. A lot of events coming up.
I'm excited to watch that too.
Hey, Mikey, what's your opinion on it?
So I have a friend from Illinois, and he used to train there, and he was telling me, I haven't watched it or anything, but he was telling me that there's a guy there that wears a dog collar, like that electrocutes you. So he has his brother that like zaps him when he's not training hard enough.
I did not see that when I was there, but I believe it. 100% believe it. Bear, do you know anything about this dog collar?
I like their intensity.
Bear, what's up with the dog collar? You heard about this?
I've heard about the legendary dog collar zapping if you don't drill right, or if you jump off of the wrong move.
That's the way to do it.
Just to help build muscle memory. You know, I think it's kind of a thing. You know, I don't know. I don't know if it's just a rumor. Or
like in dodgeball.
I heard the same.
Like in dodgeball, when you went to eat bad food, how you get zapped.
We got to go back for episode 3 on that one. But yeah, guys, 12 noon Eastern time. We'll be premiering that live on the site. You can tune in and watch it live. It'll also be available on demand. We'll be running it all day long. We're super excited about it. It's going to be 2 episodes each, spanning roughly 40 minutes total runtime each. So that's going to be really, really cool. We really get into the lives and regiments of all these competitors that have sort of combined forces at Patago submission fighting. A very interesting group of guys, and we're really excited to tell the story.
Yeah, coming up this week, we got ranking updates. They chained me back to my desk. I got back in the spreadsheets, updated like 10 tournaments yesterday. So be looking for that. Blue, purple, brown team, all that stuff, male, female, it's going to be coming. And also we got Grapple Fest coming up. That's our next event, right?
That's correct. Grapple Fest is going down February 29th. Fight to Win is changing their schedule around a little bit. We'll let you guys know exactly what happens there when that solidifies. But in the meantime, we're looking ahead to Grapple Fest. And that is a
got both Ruotolos.
Show.
Both Ruotolos on there.
Main event. We actually I don't know if this is the exact card order, but we've got Adam Warzynski versus John Blank in a title match there. Ty Ruotolos taking on Dante Lyon. Very exciting match there. Cade Ruleset take on Ashley Williams. Ashley is a UK standout. Has fought on Kasai, I think EBI. We also got guys like Stuart Cooper is on the card, taking on Santeri Lillis. So it's a fun card. Grapple Fest is slowly becoming one of the premier shows in the UK, bringing out a lot of guys now from the States as well. I cannot wait for that event.
Hey, Bear, I want to get your opinion on something, because Ty Rotolo, he's one of your boys. You've been with him since he was like 10 years old. What do you think about him with Dante Lyon? This is him versus a big guy here. This is a big he's got a strong dude in this matchup. What do you think about this?
I think it's gonna be a crazy match, man. Dante's like, he's one of the best in the world in Nogi, ADCC champion. So I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Ty. But after watching Ty compete at ADCC this year, I think he's gonna be able to rock the world a little bit. You know, like I think matchup wise, it's just like Dante just seems a little bigger, but I don't know, after that ADCC performance from Ty, literally he could probably go against anybody Nogi and probably beat them. It just depends on the day, you know. So
I'll kick it around a little bit. Ricardo, your fellow Canadian, Dante Lyon. What are you thinking about this matchup? Ty Rotolo, Dante's an interesting one.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's not 10 years ago, so it's like, you know, Rotolo as a purple belt, young kid fighting. We know that he can stand with the best of them. He can go against the best of them. He can beat the best of them. And he has one of the best training rooms in the country at Altos HQ in San Diego. So he has all the tools. He has the technical ability. He will be ready for Dante Lyon. But, man, Dante's just been on this upward trajectory. It's a tough one. I mean, I have to give a little bit of an edge to Dante on this, I think. But I think Ty, you know, Ty has nothing to lose here. So he's going to go for broke like a young Mikey Musumeci, going after Pan Am's back in the day. He's going to go for it all. So I think that it's going to be an exciting fight. And but I think Dante, you know, has the experience really to deal with Ty. And yeah, I think Dante is going to be the one pulling it out. But anything could happen. We'll see.
Canadian homer, dude. You just pick it. You're never going to pick against the Canadians. There's only one other Canadian out there. You got to pick them. Actually, there's Jake McKenzie as well. Mikey, do you ever train with those guys, the Rotolos?
No, I never got to train with them, but I was always hanging out with them, like when they were at AOJ. They're such nice kids, like such warm, nice kids, you know. And they're very motivated and driven, hungry kids, you know. So I think that they could accomplish anything that they put their minds to.
I mean, Warzynski, John Blank's a cool one too. John Blank really came on in the last year, and Warzynski is a guy who's been focusing more and more on Nogi stuff. And I'm interested to see how his game. He's got a game that's just tailor made for Nogi, I think. And I think as he puts in more work, we're going to see Adam Warzynski really start to do better and better in the Nogi side of the game. But after that, I mean, next month, obviously we got Pans, the big one. We got Third Coast. Gordon Ryan's going to be fighting Patrick Gaudio, Lucas Valente, JT Torres, Downey versus Nicky Rod. I mean
that Third Coast event is freaking huge, man. Like, there are over 10 incredible matches there. We also have Gio Martinez versus Ethan Krellenston, Talita Alencar's on the card versus Danielle Kelly. We got Najmi versus Tommy Langacker, which I think one of the matches I'm most excited about is that one there. But we also have Wagner Hosha, Mike Perez. I mean, there's so many good matches. There's a no time limit Nogi match with Will Tackett and Stefan Bonta on the card.
Yeah, that one's a little bit further out, so we'll probably cover that in depth when we get closer to it. But Ricardo, first thing first, Ricardo, I want to hear your opinion on the people that were challenging Mikey, because we didn't get you last week. What do you think about these people that were accepting the challenge over the week?
They're all killers, man. It's a murderer's row lined up for Mikey Musumeci in 2020. What a way to start this year. I mean, personally, out of all the guys that send in videos and resumes and emails and DMs, I feel like Victor Hugo. I feel like I want to see that one because it's such a big, you know, it's David versus Goliath. Victor Hugo's 250 pounds. Mikey Musumeci, what are you weighing right today after a fresh bowl of pasta? What do you weigh right now?
I could be like 44, 45 if I'm like really eating a lot of food and training hard, you know. At Euros, I was like 139 when I was fighting the open weight.
Did you eat pasta for this morning? Did you eat pasta for breakfast today?
I didn't get to eat anything yet.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty early there. All right, we'll get some pasta after this. What do you think about the Victor Hugo match? Do you think if you double pull with Victor Hugo, do you think he could bolo you? What do you think of the possibilities there?
I think Victor Hugo is awesome. He seems like a really cool guy. I like that he's a guard player too, so he's really technical how he plays guard. I'm a fan of his jiu-jitsu.
Mikey, you were talking a lot about being in prison and being on death row last week. Are you
Yeah.
are you still stressed out by the
Bolo
absolute
prison.
challenge, or are you settling into it all now? Is it feeling a little bit less intense?
First it was like my body was like so anxious from it, you know. But then like I was training normal, and then I started having fun again, like in training. So I don't really care anymore, you know. Um, when I'm not really a fighter, so when I think of it as like a fight, it makes me all intense and like tense up. But when I think of it just as jiu-jitsu and competition, then I just have fun and I don't really care who I fight. You know, I don't really see I don't really care who I'm fighting as long as I'm focused on the jiu-jitsu, because I'm just fighting a match from jiu-jitsu, not like a fight. You know what I mean?
So hey, I want to ask
Oh,
you
yeah, go.
something. I want to interrupt you here 1 second. So Mikey, your sister made a good quote years back. I remember she said, you know, when you compete in a jiu-jitsu match, it's not you versus the person, it's your jiu-jitsu versus their jiu-jitsu. So stylistically, spill the beans here. Victor Hugo's got an open game. He's well-rounded. He top to bottom. How do you see your style squaring up with such a big guy like that? And what's Mikey Musumeci gonna do? What tricks are you gonna pull off? Are we gonna see something similar to the strategy you implemented with Roberto Jimenez against Keenan Cornelius with the Berimbolo attempt to get to the top position? Mikey, we all know where that came from. What are you gonna do to Victor Hugo? Spill the beans, Mikey Musumeci.
Oh my God. I don't know. Like, it depends. Like you said, like it's about jiu-jitsu versus jiu-jitsu. You know, so he's gonna come out with like a strategy to shut off my guard, right? And I'm gonna have to have an answer to his ways of going around my guard. You know, and whoever has the answer to each other's position wins. So that's all I see it as. I don't really see the opponent like you said. It's just jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu.
Mike, yeah. So
And
I
I'm
got a
not really
question.
focused on the jiu-jitsu he does. I'm just focused on my own jiu-jitsu and having an answer to each position that he presents to my positions, if that makes sense.
Mikey, so I got a question for you. This is something I was thinking about after we got off last week. How exactly do you get out of Bolo prison? How do you break out of that place? What do you got to do?
Oh my God. So I was talking to my friend Chris about this, and for me to get out of Bolo prison, I have to have an extraordinary bolo. It has to be a bolo of extraordinary quality.
All right. All right.
Against someone that's extraordinary, like someone that's very high level.
All right.
You know,
So,
because I can't just get out of bolo prison just boloing a random person. It has to be someone legit.
man, that's going to be a big moment for everybody when you finally get out of Bolo prison. People are going to go wild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully I
So,
get early.
yeah. So we sort of settled on an athlete out of everybody that accepted. It's not nobody's signed a contract yet. There's not even an official venue yet or date, but everybody's sort of verbally committed to it. Mikey, do you want to say who it is? Who you're going to be fighting next month?
Yeah. So obviously I have just been focused on training. Like I haven't been focused on who I'm gonna fight because I just let Flo, and then Flo talked to Kyle about it, and then I just accepted whoever they told me. So what they decided was that I'm gonna compete with Herbert Santos.
Man, what do you think about that one? This is a former super heavyweight world champion. This is a bad guy.
So of all the
Ricardo
people
coming with the heat.
all the people that called all the people that wanted to fight me and stuff, I'm assuming that because he actually won Black Belt Worlds, you know, that he was the option that they chose. And at first I talked to Kyle and he was concerned with me competing with him because the risk of injury is very high with him, you know, he's so explosive. And
Bear looks
so
concerned
the
right now. I'm
danger-
seeing some concern across Bear's face.
But our goal in doing this, the whole premise of me doing this is to show that technique conquers all, you know, so regardless of the size, power of the person, like we could work around it and find a way to win.
All right, let's kick it around. Bear, what are you thinking right now? You had a good reaction there to it. What do you think about this matchup?
I'm super excited. I'm super excited. I'm super nervous. Everything at the same time. But like Mikey said, if there's a guy to beat, I mean, I think before Herbert's been like, you know, he's been in a couple losses, but before he went through those couple losses, he was probably the next big thing since Buchecha as far as like the most exciting fighter in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, I mean, like you said, Kyle was a little scared Mikey might get hurt, and Ricardo said just a little bit. But yeah, I think this makes for probably one of the most exciting matches in a very, very long time. I can't think of something that's better as far as like watching a jiu-jitsu match. Not so much if Mikey's gonna get hurt or not, or if Mikey's gonna bolo him. Whatever that may be. But I think for this fight, it's gonna be super exciting. I'm super excited for Mikey.
Hey, Mikey, Herbert is, it's well known he's pretty unpredictable, both on the mats and, his mental preparation where he is on that day. How are you going to go about getting ready for someone that could be so different just on any given day?
Yeah, so he is very unorthodox. Like you never know. He's very unpredictable. That's the correct word. So you never know like which Herbert is going to show up. But I just hope that the Herbert that shows up wants to have a jiu-jitsu match, Like he doesn't want to start like a riot or do anything in terms of that, because in the end of the day, it's a jiu-jitsu match, and I just hope that we have a jiu-jitsu match, please.
Yeah, I think big props to you and Kyle for doing this, because this is something that you're not seeing other people do. This is something that, I mean, not many roosterweights, light featherweights are going to go out there and fight Herbert Santos in a super fight. Win or lose, it's a win for you because like. It's impressive. I mean, it takes big balls.
No, it's not a win for me. I'm not like I tell everyone I put a lot of pressure on myself because I know what I could do, and so me competing isn't a win for me. I really believe if I'm fighting anyone that I could use my jiu-jitsu, So training my butt off, every day now. Very focused on this match and my guard's coming way more in with the open weight people now because I'm training with all big guys right now. So I'm starting to get a system like I have with the people of my size,
The would a bolo here get you out of bolo prison? If you get the bolo on
yes,
Herbert,
100%.
Yeah, that's a jailbreak. You're out of there.
I just really hope he doesn't body slam me if I take the back or something, I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I hope so too. I really hope that doesn't happen to you as well.
But honestly, what would be the worst? It would be like 2 broken ribs. It wouldn't be anything worse than that, right? Would I have enough time for Worlds if I get 2 broken ribs, guys?
It would be an aggressive healing period if you're back in 6 weeks, I think. But Mike, you've been talking to Herbert on this a little bit, liaising with him. What does he have to say about the match? Obviously, he's not here on the podcast today, but is he excited? I mean, he's the other man here involved, right?
It's hard to tell. I think he heard his name mentioned last week when Kyle and them were on here, and he was one of the people that said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And yeah, he seems into it. I mean, I don't think, yeah. Hopefully, yeah, like Mikey said, hopefully there's no incidents or anything. But I mean, I think we can make sure that doesn't happen. Try and talk him out of that. He's had a couple before. We got another one will probably be the end of it for him. But Ricardo, what are you thinking about this matchup, man?
Herbert Santos? Herbert Santos? Herbert Santos! Yes, I love it, Mikey. In the words of the great Bernardo Faria, I am very excited about this, and I can't wait to see this match. I think it's awesome. I think it's great because, if you get Herbert on a good day, he opens up. He goes for broke. He's doing switch passes. He's jumping over people. He's doing the leg locks of dooms. He's trying to re-bolo people. Let's hopefully get him on a good day because that's what we want to see. We want to see the best of Herbert against the best of Mikey opening up and clashing, not somebody that's just going to try to stall Mikey out, look at the referee for, looking at him saying, pô, juiz, cadê meu vantagem? We want to see people open up. You know what I mean? We want to see it. And if we get the best Herbert, he's going to open up and Mike, I'm sorry, he's going to try to kill you, but it's going to be fun to watch, and I love it.
This is taken.
And I want to see stylistically. Me and Bear's we're gonna have some side bets going. We got some side deals going. If you can bolo Herbert, we got some money on the table. Things are cooking. I already talked to Kyle Terra. He says he's gonna pay for your pasta all year round if you bolo Herbert and choke him out from the back. There's a lot on the line, Mikey. There's a lot on the line, Mikey Musumeci. Good for you, my son. Good for you. I taught you well. Good for you.
Mikey, are you worried? Ricardo mentioned the leg locks. Are you worried about toe holds or knee bars? Because Herbert does have great toe holds and knee bars. Like he's done it to
So
Hudson. Yeah.
yeah, so for sure, that's probably the most pressing concern with Urbith is like his knee bars and toe holds. So I just have to address that accordingly. You know, one thing that I have going for me is my legs are really small and he's really big. So for you to pull a big, like someone so big to go for a leg lock on someone so small, it's kind of hard. Because you have to really lean on the leg, and it's just based on positioning and stuff. So I should be good with that. And if I'm good with that, hopefully we'll be Gucci.
Would you call this your biggest challenge yet in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. So I was joking with my friend the other day, and I was like, yeah. So when I look across the mat and I see Herbert Santos, I think I won't be nervous to fight anyone after that. The scariest looking person.
All right, so Bear.
Yes,
Bear,
sir.
you had an idea because I think we're talking about we're gonna try and do this in California next month sometime. You had an idea about doing some sort of color belt tournament as an undercard, right? Like, what are you thinking about for that thing?
Yeah, no, it's just something similar. Just try. I think we want to try and do like a 8-man, maybe like a 8-man middleweight and below, and then middleweight and above, maybe heavyweight and above, like an 8-man tournament bracket. Maybe try a different rule set, very similar to IBJJF, but try and not penalize the passer so much. So maybe giving some basic rules for, call it like 4 points for mount, 4 points for side mount, 4 points for the back, making it super duper simple, making it 6 minutes. And then just letting the guys, just let the guys go. See how the person on the bottom can't just hang out so much, and the person on top doesn't have to hang out as much as well. And we're just gonna try and get some of the best, some of the best up and coming people in the world, and also maybe some black belts as well. So we just want to shake it up a little bit, make some interesting fights for everybody. So it's in the works.
So you're thinking mixed belts, mixing all the belts.
Mixed
together.
belts.
Yeah.
Black belts. If black belts want to fight at this point, what's the difference?
Yeah.
A blue belt that's been training 16 years opposed to like a black belt that's been training for 10 years. I mean, at this point, like for me, it doesn't matter. It may matter in everybody else's eyes, but for me, I just want to make the best fights happen, and at the best level, So,
You got anybody in mind when it comes to this? You got anybody that you've talked to yet, or are you just waiting for people to apply, or how's that going to work?
Not yet, because this is the first time we're talking about it publicly, So, I'm pretty sure I'm going to get some messages from coaches, and everyone's going to be like, "Hey, Bear, I got a guy. He just came from Manaus. Hey, Bear, this guy from Illinois. Hey, Bear, this guy, he's going to be the next champion. Hey, Bear, this guy's going to be the next Mikey Musumeci." So I'm thinking if this is like any other thing we've done in the past, messages are going to start blowing up, and then we'll start trying to set up the best guys. So for us, we don't care. Any team, any brand, anything, just as long as they're the best person for the division, put them in. There could be 0 Shoro guys. I don't care. I just want the best guys in there. So.
Hey, Mikey, you've been cutting your teeth now on the pro event scene. You're kind of doing your second one here coming up. What's your favorite format? Do you like a super fight show? Do you like round robin kind of Grand Prix like Copapodia or Kasai? Mixed belt tournaments? If you were to design your own event or star in an event, what makes you most excited?
It's hard to say because everyone's style is different, right? So you get those like super explosive power guys that will win in like 6-minute formats. But then if they had a 10-minute format, they would have more trouble. And then you have like the more technical long distance guys that are better in like a 10-minute format. So I guess it would be based on the style of the people, right? Because if you have like the different styles would make the time of the match vary. I see a lot of people, they could win like a 6-minute match, but then in 10 minutes they gas out. So it really does depend on the time. Like it depends on the people in the event, right? I think the round robin thing is really cool, but then at the same time it gives the same thing as single elimination because it's still based on the drawing, right? So if you put like a group of people on one side and they still don't get to fight the people on the other side based on the draw of the bracket, So I don't know. I've never been a promoter, so I think all the event formats are cool and are interesting experiences to go through, I wouldn't know what to say about which one is the best though.
All right, well, 6 minutes. If you're gonna fight a big guy like a 200 plus pound guy, do you want 6 minutes or do you like 10 minutes?
10 minutes for sure.
You could wear him out a
Well,
little bit with your cardio. You're thinking.
I think that it would just give me more time to get my jiu-jitsu going. And so then the strength and size goes away more, and then it becomes more jiu-jitsu as the match goes on.
All right, Ricardo,
So-
I see you raising your hand there. What's going on?
yeah, it's like I'm back in elementary school. I got to raise my hand for a question here. But what are the rules? What are the rules of this contest going to be?
10
with
minutes,
Mikey
IBJJ.
Musumeci? 10
10
minutes,
minutes.
IBJJ. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
all right. Mikey, if you could design your best rule set, I know Chase kind of asked you this, but against a larger opponent, are you comfortable doing the 10-minute IBJJF, or is there anything you would tweak to make it more exciting or more favorable? Let's be real, Mikey.
Oh, well, if I was being real, the easiest format for me would probably be advantages being points, right? But I don't think that's fair. So I prefer this format. I liked it because this is how I grew up doing IBJJF rules, And
Yeah.
I don't know, I train every day, 10-minute rounds in the gym, so it's just like another day of training in the gym. That's like the normal for me is a 10-minute round.
So how far are you gonna take?
And I have
this?
a
Okay, go Bear. Go for it.
no. I just have a question for Mikey on this because I'm super curious because I've never asked him. But on that rule set, Mikey, just as an example, not saying it's going to be your rule set, but the rule set of only getting points for when you establish side mount, or if you get mount, or if you get back mount. What do you think that would do to you as a competitor if you were passing and say you wanted to dive to a toe hold or you wanted to dive to like a brombolo, and just as long as you didn't catch it and the guy didn't pass your guard, he wouldn't get any points.
So takedowns are no points. So sweeps and takedowns are no. Wow, that's amazing. I think that I would perform so much better because I wouldn't have to worry about being so positionally correct with strategy, and I would just fight to take the back, or I'd fight to pass. I think that's gonna create way more fighting. I actually love that format. That would be amazing. Oh my god. The stress that we have to deal with, to get advantages and stay on top or position yourself where you can't get scored on. You know what I mean? So that format would be insane.
I guess when you break down the format, right, it's very simple. It's very similar to the same exact format that we're dealing with in IBJJF. The major difference is you only get points if you pass somebody's guard and you establish a mount, or and that's really it, right? And other than that, nothing in between gets misconstrued. So you could be passing and you can't pass the guy's guard for 3 minutes.
But what are you going to do if there's a tie? What are you going to do if there's a tie?
Same thing. It would be probably ref's decision, up to 3 refs.
Ref decision.
That's, I think, up to 3 refs, right? And I think that's right now the fairest.
Okay. Yeah, then that's good. And then it's just the question is, will the ref decision be based on if the person swept you or not? You know what I mean? So then technically it'd be IBJJF rules. So then that would be the only thing I would be questioning, because then it would still create the IBJJF format in a sense, because people would be afraid to get swept because in the ref decision they would count that. You know what I mean?
I think the ref decision is going to be based off of aggressiveness, right? And of course, there's going to be some refs that probably.
Oh, okay.
No, not sweeps. Just on aggression and who's kind of getting the advantage. And of course, that's going to be skewed depending on if the ref thinks a sweep weighs more than a submission attempt, right? And that's going to just be the factor that we have to work out. But I think the biggest thing is what I get frustrated watching as a fan is the person playing guard for 5 minutes and the guy stalling on top for 5 minutes. So if the person from the guard, if the person from top can now try different things to try and pass the guard, toe hold, berimbolo, whatever, and if the guy comes up on top and the person, he doesn't get his guard pass, he doesn't get penalized for diving for a position or trying to go for something. And you can
even even in IBJJF, it's very common in the smaller divisions, like my division, where you'll be up on top winning by an advantage, let's say. Then you'll put yourself in 50-50 because there's no advantage for almost getting swept in 50-50. So then the only way that they could get advantage is attacking your foot. But if you're good at defending your foot, essentially it's impossible to lose unless you get swept, because there's no advantage for almost getting swept. So this is the style that people have to play in the IBJJF format to like stay ahead with the strategy and stuff, So I think that this would create a new opportunity for like more action for sure.
What do you guys think about adding something to that where if there's a legit submission attempt, like a compelling submission attempt, you get an actual point. So that way,
I think
the problem is how could you
I
determine
think
if something's a legit submission attempt, right? Like
they
for
do it
example,
now. They do it now though. They give you they get an advantage for a submission attempt, correct?
Yeah.
So it'd be the same criteria.
I like it, but I think the biggest thing with this rule set is to make it as simple as possible and then try and add to it with time, because I think all these little things like Mikey was saying, like what a sweep attempt or a submission attempt or whatever the other advantage is, which let's call it a submission attempt. It's such a gray area, so I think that's the issue we face in the sport right now is the refs don't know. So.
For submission. I think that we shouldn't have points for submission because every time you make points for submission, then there'll be strategy and people will go for submissions, make the faces, get the point, and then how Bear's saying the format with the back take and the passing, that's a guaranteed submission if you get to those spots because those are such dominant spots, So I think that's going to create so many more finishes. The only concern I would have is, again, someone going for a submission and holding a submission the whole match, even if it's not a tight submission, just to win the ref decision. That could be another gray area, But besides that, it seems like a better format in the sense that people will fight way more.
So Bear, that's the rule set that you're going to be using for your color belt, or not color belt, all belts, absolutes, right? Correct?
I'm sorry, what was that?
These are the rules. The rules you're discussing are what you're going to be using in your part of the tournament in the two different absolutes, correct?
Correct. Basically, similar to IBJJF rules. The only difference is just what they're awarded points for, right? But as far as everything else goes, like if you were to fight like brown belt or something, right? Knee bars, ankle locks, toe holds, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who gets in this. I know we're talking about sometime around Pans. We still got to work out dates and everything. But Ricardo, who are some people you'd like to see jump in these absolutes there?
I mean, it's pretty open-ended. So this is all belts? I mean,
yeah, but the big name black belts aren't going to jump in. Let's think color belts.
Yeah.
I'll say Mikael Galvão for sure.
Yeah, Mika Galvão. I think a lot of people are talking about him. I think they're talking about Tynan from AOJ. A lot of people are buzzing about him right now too.
Jansen would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many good guys. I mean, the beautiful thing about Southern California is there's no shortage of talent available in a close distance. So, there's you can literally call up any gym and get their two best guys in. So this will be awesome. Hopefully,
you never know. Mikey Musumeci could jump in both of them. You never know with this guy these days.
Yeah.
Right after his fight with Herbert.
Yeah. Let's see Roberto in there too. Let's get Roberto Jimenez back in there right away.
I'll tell him right now. I'm about to go train with him.
Oh, nice.
It'd be nice to get Roberto in the heavyweight one. A match that almost happened at Who's Number One, but Roberto got promoted was Roberto and Eric Muniz. That would be a cool one in the heavyweight one. Eric Muniz would be somebody great.
What about you, Mike? You're the biggest jiu-jitsu nerd on the planet right now. So who would you like
for
to see
the
in
middleweight one, we already talked about Micah Galvão, Tynan and Jansen, those guys. I think at the heavier one, we got to get Eric Muniz in there. Eric Muniz is just a guy who's looked unstoppable at purple and brown belt for the last couple of years. He did the double grand slam at purple belt. He just did double gold at brown belt at European. So it'd be interesting to see him in there. Maybe get him up against a black belt.
I want to get Mason Fowler in that thing. Mason Fowler,
one of Mikey's teammates out there. Mikey, are you training with Mason, getting ready for the big guys?
No, I'm in Las Vegas.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
In San Jose. But,
who are you training with right now besides Roberto?
I'm training with my friend Roberto, and then I'm training with my other friend Renato, who's from Cayo.
Renato Tagliari?
Yeah, he's about 240. Then I have a lot of random big guys here, and my friend Chris Engel, who's very technical, and he's like 235-ish. So I have a lot of guys around that size. I can't really do every round with big guys because it just destroys your body. But, I could do at least 2 or 3, 10 with big guys, and then I could do some rounds with little guys as well. My size, little guys, my size.
Are you noticing more stress on your body these days now that you're training with big guys?
I was originally, but now I'm like being smarter with like the recovery, and I just have to figure out the correct algorithm for training with the big guys, like how much percent I should be training with them opposed to how much percent I should be training with smaller guys. You know, right now I'm trying to figure out the correct percentage where my body won't be too destroyed, but at the same time I'll get a lot of benefits out of it. You know.
You mentioned that you're being smarter for the recovery. What are you doing for your recovery these days?
I'm just doing more like massages, things like that, and I'm taking rest days. Sometimes when I'm fighting the lighter division, like my regular division, I'll just overtrain because I don't really care about how I feel, so I'll just keep overtraining. But when I'm fighting a monster like Urbith or someone like that, like I need my nervous system to be functioning. You know, I really need to be functioning like with my nervous system. I can't be overtrained in fight Urbith.
So, but you're noticing like a direct correlation then between like taking some days for resting and massages. Like you feel much better already, like an immediate
Yeah,
improvement.
for sure.
Interesting.
And also good nutrition is very important. That's why I always joke about pasta, but it really helps me with recovery. You know, when I'm overtrained, I just eat a crap ton of pasta and then I recover and then I train again.
I gotta
All
go
right.
Mikey,
pasta
will you
train.
be Mikey for this match? Will you be avoiding or taking on all the spazzy white belts in your gym?
No spazzy white belts.
Okay,
I yeah, just training.
gotta
how I
keep you
do-
healthy, Mikey.
training
We're concerned about your
primarily with
health
big
here,
guys,
Mikey.
But then I do. What happened? Sorry.
I said we're concerned about your health. We want to keep you safe until this match happens. So stay
I
away from
know.
the big spazzy white belts.
Yes, no spazzy white belts. Only black belts that are heavy. You know.
All right,
for
weight
now.
wise, are you gonna get your weight up for this match, or are you gonna still be trying to stay
No.
down?
No, because right after this match, 10 weeks later, I have to make Rooster for Worlds. So
Yeah.
I'm continuing dieting and eating healthy, you know, and eating very clean. And I'm trying to get my weight lower, actually, you know, so I could so then for Worlds, my weight will be good. Because
So did you?
still my ideal goal, my biggest goal of this year is to fight the 2 divisions at Worlds. You know, that's my main goal. This is like a side goal, you know, that I'm gonna keep building on. But my ideal goal is to win Rooster and Light Feather at Worlds. You know.
So if you have to choose one, any idea which one you're gonna go if they don't let you do two?
Whichever Kyle tells me to do, you know.
Yeah.
Good
But I
answer,
really
Mikey.
want
Good
to do
answer.
Light Feather. A part of me really wants to do Light Feather so I could compete with both meows back to back. That would be like a really, really cool thing to do, you know. And I like fighting Light Feather a lot. I don't have to die. But it is what it is. If we decide for me to fight Rooster and to rematch Malphasine and to fight all the new like upcoming people like Taliesin, it would be incredible, you know. Like everyone's so high level now, even in Rooster weight. Like there's so many new people coming up, and it would be really exciting to fight them all.
So yeah, because you've never fought Paulo.
Never fought Paulo. That's someone that that would be a real like honor for me to compete with, you know, because when I was like a blue belt, I would watch him in black belt, and I was always like a big fan of him and Nguyen, you know, but I never had the opportunity to face him.
All right, what about pans? You got any idea? Are you doing pans, or what's your plan there?
What Kyle was telling me was he wants me to do pans, I think, and we just do open weight there.
Oh, all right. So you
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Mikey's coming in
Yes.
with guns blazing.
Oh my god.
Good for you, kid. Good for you.
Death row.
Very good.
Death row.
You're very serious about getting out of Bolo prison. So you want to fight Earth, and then a week later go do the Open Class of Pans. Open Class of Pans. There's some big names. I mean, Leandro Lowe will probably be in there. There'll be some guys in there.
Everyone's insane. Just everyone's insane. You know, like I stopped trying to think, who's not insane, because they're all insane, you know.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that. That would be absolutely
So
legendary.
what'd you just say? You forgot one where you're like, okay, you're gonna go do a super fight with Herbert Santos, and then right after that, you're gonna jump into Pan Ams and you're gonna do open weight. Oh, let's not forget, right after that, you want to jump into the World Championship and be the first rooster weight ever to win rooster and light featherweight. You know, that's all in like a 10-week span. You know, like ain't
And
nothing
then
the
Kyle
normal
wants,
day of
and then,
Mikey
and then I
Musumeci.
might do Brazilian Nationals too. I might
And
do
the Brazilian Nationals, too.
open weight.
Open weight there? Man.
Shocking the world. Shocking the world. Crazy.
Yeah, you told me at
Mikey
Euros.
Mania 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Mikey Mania 2020. Hashtag that.
Mikey Mania
I might
2020.
need to be-
Hashtag Everyday Pasta. Hashtag what else? We got Bolo Prison. Hashtag
Bolo
Free
Prison.
Mikey.
Don't forget Bolo Prison.
Yeah, Bolo Prison.
Bolo
Free
Prison.
Mikey. Mikey, you told me at Euros that you were just, I mean, it's not, I don't want to say bored, but like you were trying to look for new challenges, and that's why you were doing the open class there. And it sounds like you're really taking that to another level. You're going to just be doing open classes and fighting big guys all over the place. Is that what you're looking at? You're just trying to push yourself and new challenges?
Yeah, so this is fun for me now. It's kind of really like it gets really I would say boring just doing your division at Worlds and then repeating over and over, having the same podium picture every year. It's you lose it. It doesn't become as exciting anymore. And I want new challenges. I love that feeling of having a new challenge. It makes me just excited, and then I'm excited to train. Like last night, I figured out something super cool in training, and like I was like messaging Kyle, all excited again. Like I felt like I was like a lower belt, like learning. Understand? Like I have that like passion again for jiu-jitsu, and I feel like I lose that when I stay complacent and I don't do new things. So this really is exciting for me, and I really love the feeling of taking risk. I love it. There's nothing else better than that feeling of taking risk. I don't like I I don't like having control anymore. A lot of people, they try to control everything, and the best I feel is when I don't have control.
I feel like that's a big shift for you, Mikey. I feel like in the past you really had like a strong game plan that you had to stick to.
Always,
that's-
and then I changed. Then I realized that you only have one life. Why not live it to the fullest? Why not take risk? Why not do everything you want? Because in the end of the day, a title is what? A title is a memory of a time that you accomplished something. But every day is a new competition. So what title do you have today? No title. Yesterday you might have had a title, right? I won Worlds last year. But what did I win today? Nothing. So I don't see a title as something to hide behind anymore. Oh, you're a world champion. Now you could relax. You could stop doing things. No, a title is just something that you did in the past, and now every day is a new championship. So that's my mindset going forward. I don't really care anymore about the past.
So you mentioned messaging Kyle after training last night. How do you guys work it out with like when you're in Vegas and Kyle's in California? How do you guys how's that relationship work with him being your instructor and everything?
Yeah, so in Vegas I run all my training, right now I train in the morning at like a gym called Dunham's with my friend Renee, or I train at Roberto's in the morning. I've been training more with Roberto now, especially because I'm fighting the heavier division. Even though Roberto doesn't feel like a heavyweight, he's like a small guy too, because how he moves is so technical. But I've been training with him in the mornings, and then I always just message him like, "Oh, I'm working this," and then I always ask him for input, and I tell him how I'm feeling, and we always talk about things like that. So he gives me like input based on like how I'm feeling, and we just have a good dialogue. I think it's very important.
How often do you make it out to San Jose to train with him?
Always before every competition, I at least make it out one time, like one time. And then I always stay with him, and he helps me so much. And then we fine tune everything I've been working, and we adjust things. And then he does some specific training formats for me that he feels that will help me like closer to the competition. So it's really good.
That's interesting. So it's like he's just sort of masterminding like you're out there running your own training, and then you touch in with him, like you're working on. He gives you advice, and then that's pretty interesting how it works out. But
yeah, it's very interesting how it works out. I think that all the Black Belt World Champions, they find a format, like a system that works for them, right? Every one of them trains a little differently. They have their own ways of training, and I think the hardest part about winning Black Belt Worlds is figuring out the correct way for you to train where everything works together, So I finally have the right formula for training, and we have it down, Kyle and me, and we get it done, And I think that's the hardest part for the black belts coming up, and all the lower belts too, figuring out the correct format for you, because a lot of coaches, they tell you, oh, you have to train like this, this, and this, but it's not a one size fits all thing. Like, how could you tell someone to train a certain way? Everyone's brains are different. Everyone's jiu-jitsu is different. Everyone's athleticism is different. So you can't all train the same way. So it's the hardest thing is learning how to train.
So you're saying you're going to fight Herberth, you're going to do the Pans Open class, you're going to do Brasileiro Open class. How far are you going to take this fighting big guys thing? You just going to do it till it doesn't interest you anymore, or are you just going to do that this year? What's your future like with this?
I see it like my division. I'm I'm building my jiu-jitsu on it. Like it's a whole different style for me. Like I told you, all the limbs and everything are different on the bodies. So I'm my guard is changing, my game is changing, based on the heavyweights. So it's making me excited again to train because I have to build a game again like I did for my own division. So I plan on doing this long term, fighting open weight and fighting these guys, and just keep working my way up and fixing holes and mistakes in my game. And like I said, I might fail a bunch of times, but I'll keep pursuing it and I'll keep going. I'm 23. I have so many years I could compete in this, and I'm very healthy. I don't do any drugs or anything bad. So I could really compete long term in this. And I'm really excited to see what technical improvements I can make for my jiu-jitsu in doing this. Because what I've noticed now is my jiu-jitsu could be really good with people my size, but then a lot of the moves I do for my size might not be applicable for someone that's like 240, 250, which is bothering me now because now I want my jiu-jitsu to be able to work on all sizes. So now my mind is going crazy, and now I have to make my jiu-jitsu like I have to make it efficient for all sizes, which is really exciting to me.
Mikey, you just we just released it yesterday, I believe, the Fix My Game episode with Reed that you shot, where you touch on how you make adjustments with big guys. I watched it; it's awesome. It's a great episode, and but maybe not the whole thing, not all your adjustments, but what's like one of the biggest things that you've noticed you had to change immediately to address big guys? I think it was framing maybe last week, but anything else that comes to your mind?
Um, just the volume of their legs is the biggest thing for me, because I'm so leg oriented, how I play guard, like how I play De La Hiva and that type of game. Like their leg is so long that like it changes everything. So when they deadlift and they stretch their leg, it just alters like all my positions, and I just have to I'm getting a lot of correlations and I'm getting a lot of correlations and stuff based on the body types, just like I did with the people that I fight. I'm always studying correlations and if their weight's here, what do I do here? What do I do here? But some of my concepts didn't go over my concepts. Like I have a lot of rules for when I play guard in certain spots and concepts for certain like things, and some of them weren't going over exactly the same way. So I'm having to reinvent them. I'm writing a book now in my mind for the new body type.
So I have a question for you, Mikey. So talking about these adjustments that you're making to fighting larger opponents, seriously, when you look at this now, are you modifying the technique based on the size of the opponent or the strategy? What's your main focus there? Like, give you example, like if you see a larger person, okay, the technique. So you're going to change the technique according to the body type and size and weight, and not just like, okay, if this guy's big, I'm not boloing. You know what I mean? Like, or is it always like a modification of the specific technique, but you continue the same game? Explain that for me, please.
Mm-hmm. So that actually I always play every position I'm playing. I have to be able to do on a small and big guy. You know what I mean? I wouldn't play like a guard that I couldn't do on a big guy with a small guy. In my mind, that would be flawed. Even if I could get away with it in a small guy with a small guy, because then I feel like my jiu-jitsu isn't the most efficient it could be. But I meant in more terms of like, for example, when I'm playing De La Hiva or a position, I'm focused on if his weight's on the back leg, I'm gonna bring him this way. His weight's on the front leg, I'm gonna bring him this way. I'm always focused on correlations of the body, right? And what I'm noticing is because of the length of the legs that some of my rules of how I play guard are changing because of the posture and how far up their legs are. And their knees, I'm not able to bend the same way. I'm not able to alter their knees the same way. But then at the same time, when their knees don't alter the same way, there's correlations. I don't want to give away what I'm working, but there's correlations in other parts of their limbs. So right now I'm figuring this stuff out and I'm just putting it together. But like I said, I'm not. I really want my jiu-jitsu to be able to work with any size person. So this is so exciting.
Mikey, I got a
I have
couple
a question
questions
for
from
Mikey.
fans here.
I got one question before you jump into that one, Mike.
All right.
Mikey, just a question. You're talking about training with big guys, and a lot of small guys do probably train with big guys in sparring and stuff. So they're probably giving feedback like, oh yeah, I know how that feels to train with big guys too. But I think specifically for you, what have you seen that's training with big guys and actually breaking down the positioning and also where their body lies or how big their leg is or how long their leg is or the weight? How do you figure that's kind of helping or hurting you training with smaller guys now? Has it opened up like some new concepts and some new ideas on spacing and then also being longer and stuff?
So honestly, it's crazy because, like I told you guys, like the last 4 years, I really haven't trained with a lot of big guys. Like I made all my training just small guys, so I could do high volume and not have any impact on my body. But like I feel like now when I'm training with the small guys, I feel so much stronger. Honestly, I feel like because I'm used to the size of the big people, that I'm feeling way stronger. And the only thing is the smaller guys are smaller, so positionally I have to keep my positions the same. But I feel like because I'm doing rounds every day with the small guys still, I'm keeping my same positioning with the small people, because with small people your positioning has to be a little better in terms of like making space and stuff on bottom. But as this, so I'm keeping my positioning with the small guys, but the big guys I'm getting better at controlling. I'm getting better at taking the back. I'm getting better at doing all these different positions. First it was very hard for me starting to train with the big guys because it was frustrating because my game in the gi is a lot of omoplatas, is a lot of De La Hiva, but the way I was playing De La Hiva was a lot easier on smaller people, and the way I was omoplating, I have trouble when someone deadlifts me. So now just making these micro adjustments for the big guys, and then I could use them with the small guys also, so it's a win-win.
All right, we got some questions from fan questions here. The first one is for you, Bear. They want to know, when are we going to get a Mikey Mania 2020 T-shirt? People want that. But Mikey, we got another question. A guy, Sam
10% royalty check coming my way, by the way, for that one.
Yeah.
It's coming.
A guy, Sam Drysdale, Mikey, is asking you, what is your favorite show-your-old gi of all time? Do you have one?
Oh my god. It's hard for me to say because I have this one good luck shoryogi that I won like worlds in 2 times. So I think that's like a special one for me. But that's what I love about shoryo is every gi is like different, and they're all like that's what I love. Like a lot of the gi companies I was with, like they're just all the same. But every gi that they make is a different style. Like the material is a little different, the fit is a little different. So that's what I really love about those gis, and I kind of love all of them. Every one of them has a different style and a different like feel to it, and it makes it really nice.
All right. The next question was from a guy, Frederick Nordman. He says, what belt level did you enjoy the most and why?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I would say purple belt.
Okay.
Because in purple belt, I just came from juvenile blue belt, and it was my first year in adult. I felt a lot of pressure in juvenile, but then when I went to purple belt, I felt like it was just so much easier. I mean, it sucked because I had to fight like for 7 hours straight, because you have like 6-7 matches in purple belt, so the duration was crazy, but at the same time, it was just so much fun. I just really had a fun time in purple belt.
All right, so I think we got to cut it soon. We got sort of like a company meeting going on here at HQ today.
Then I can go train.
Yeah, go train and go eat some pasta. To sum it up, Mikey's going to fight Erberth. We don't know when, we don't know where, but the announcement will be coming soon. We're working on that, sort of doing this on the fly. Bear is putting together, on the same event, most likely going to have 2 different absolutes. I think you said middle and under and above that, right? Bear?
Yeah, I think we'll put all the information on Flow and we'll put it out there. But basically, every team, the best top athletes, like you're saying, all the people you're saying, Dreamart, Autos, Checkmat, Gracie Baja, whatever team you're in.
Let's get it. Maybe Ricardo. Maybe Ricardo in there.
Maybe Ricardo. If you're a black belt and you want to fight in it, shit. Message.
Look. Let's
and,
cut the crap, Bear. Who's number 3? You and I. All submissions banned. Advantages only. Winner take all. If I win, I take over shoyu roll.
All right.
Let's do it.
Mikey Musumeci is still in Bolo prison, but he's got big plans to get out of there. He's gonna jailbreak soon.
We're breaking out.
What was the okay? So what do we got going on here? We got Everyday Pasta, Free Mikey from Bolo prison. What was the
Death Row. Death Row's another one.
Mikey Mania 2020. Okay,
Mikey
Daisy
Mania
Fresh
2020.
tomorrow, 12 Eastern. The Daisy Fresh episode 1. I think episode 2 will be the next week. Bear, thanks so much for coming in. Ricardo, thanks for calling in. Mikey, especially you, thanks for taking time out of your day.
Thank
Go
you
get
guys
some
so
training,
much.
eat some pasta. All right.
Thank
Talk to you guys next week.
Talk to you guys.